Most of my childhood feels like a blur, like it happened to someone else. I remember flashes of pain, moments of fear, and survival. One of my earliest memories is hiding behind a dumpster with my mother, crouched down and terrified as we waited for the police to come. Her boyfriend was violent and looking for us, and that dumpster was the safest place we could find. I remember holding my breath, trying not to cry, trying to disappear. That night was one of many where safety felt like a luxury. We never stayed in one place for long, always under someone else's roof, never settled, never secure. Food was just as unstable. There were nights and days where I only ate once, if at all. I got used to silencing the growls of my stomach and drinking water to fill the emptiness. Years later, I still struggle to relax unless I know exactly where my next meal is coming from. I ration, I overthink, I hoard small snacks. When I entered foster care at 16, I thought maybe things would change. But I've moved constantly, placement after placement. I went from sleeping in a shelter with just 2 shirts and a pair of pants to being placed in homes where I experienced physical and emotional abuse. I spent my high school years wondering where I would sleep next, wondering if I'd eat that day, wondering if anyone truly saw me. I aged out of care at 18, tired, traumatized, and unprepared. I declined services because they were poorly explained to me, and I was just ready to be free. That freedom quickly turned into couch surfing, sleeping in tents, and eventually living in my car. I took on odd jobs just to survive. I was exhausted and at my breaking point. Then came Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike was the first adult in a long time who truly believed in me, not because he had to, but because he saw my fire, my willingness to speak up, to fight back, to demand better. He didn't just see a broken foster youth. He saw a leader. Because of Mr. Mike's belief in me, I found advocacy, and through advocacy, I found purpose. I became the Florida Youth Shine statewide chair. I've lobbied for policy change on both state and national levels, Miss Palm Beach County, amongst so many other opportunities. None of that would have been possible without access to housing and food. Before I was an advocate, a title holder, a delegate, I was a young girl just trying to survive, and survival should never be the goal. But none of those titles matter if we forget where it all started. It started with a little girl hiding behind a dumpster who was unsure of where she'd sleep or eat, with a teenage girl sitting underneath a DCF conference table, calling every number she could remember, begging people to take her in only to be met with silence. A young girl who questioned why God would allow this to be her reality, but can now see it was his plan all along. That's why I speak up, because youth can shine, but only if we're given a real chance. Within the foster care system, I aspire to be a beacon of hope for foster youth, fearlessly advocating for their rights across social, legal, and educational spheres.